Okay, well, here we are, off in Vancouver, doing a fucking video about Happy 420, everybody. It's a good thing they legalized weed in here in Canada a few years back, because can you imagine if we didn't have all these weed companies to get all these taxes and pull all these scams on the weed futures markets for the liberal insiders? Imagine how much of that black market cash never would have went into the government coffers. What are they going to legalize? They almost got to legalizing fentanyl out here, especially they did on the west coast here. That was a complete wreck. And that's not a good idea. Mind you, I'm all for legalizing weed. I just don't want very much else legalized. I don't think mushrooms or weird plant-based stuff like that should be all regulated out of existence by these buffoons. But the war on weed, that's been a British war against like reality and God for the last, I don't know, 150 years or so, probably a little bit longer. But when you look at it, years ago, I was saying this is like Opium Wars 8.0, like they call the first Opium Wars in the 1820s. It was more between the British and the Dutch, the British and the Spanish, but the casualties were the Chinese. All the drug shipping and the East India tea companies that were also shipping the opium all around the world, folks. So I've been saying for like, I don't know, a decade at least, it's Opium Wars 8.0, and you're just too stupid to realize what the fuck's going on with your why China. They're laughing at you. They got a little bit of a cultural, historical memory, whereas you don't. You don't even remember, other than that you remember what, I don't know, not Mariah Carey, what's those ones with a fat ass? Those, the Jenners, or what's they're all into cross-dressing and stuff too. Fuck, I can't even remember the name of these stupid people. Well, see, this is what I mean. American culture on whatever the celebrity culture is. Well, that's all we got here in Canada is 5 minutes of memory, because everybody just showed up off the boat 5 minutes ago. They don't know anything about Canada. If you look at who's the ones doing the videos, they're all the recent transplants. It's not the age-old, like 400-year-old families. We're the ones who get like severely shadow banned. But yeah, everybody's always mocking Canada. Where are you gonna go from here? Where's next that's even more downhill? So I don't know, this whole trade deal fuckery, and then they say they're not doing negotiations, and now they're saying over the weekend that Carney's back, even though he said he canceled the negotiations. He's back begging for negotiations. But they said they had a better deal, so we need the U.S. to release that better deal and see what Carney fucked up on. And we all gotta, as one collective voice, Canada, be like, get the fuck out. No more Carney. If you have Carney, we're not gonna have Canada anymore. But it's really getting time. This is what I mean about the wokeness. These people are all just off the boat, or the direct descendants of those just off the boat that came in these waves of migration in the 60s, 70s, or since Trudeau in the 80s and 90s. They always thought that they were one or the other, or whoever of their parents was more dominant, and they always called themselves a Canadian begrudgingly, because they always wanted to be an Italian, or they wanted to be Filipino, or they wanted to be Chinese, and they didn't know they were in limbo between two worlds, their grandkids would be washed down enough maybe that they would be Canadian and into maple syrup and Johnny Canuck or whatever, right? But those are the people that they don't like Canada because they're angry at their parents. Probably their parents were divorced too, is a lot of what these fucking kids have a problem with. Hey, I fucked up with my old lady. I couldn't do anything about it. She just had all the fucking power to fucking start screaming and then make up false fucking reporting to the police. And I'd say, okay, you did that. I'm going over here. You're not getting any money. Sure enough, weeks later, somehow she whittled more money out of me, and it was all over a whole new cycle again. The family courts are corrupt. They have too much money and power and influence to create the acrimony and to just fuck up Canadian families. It's what they've been doing to the Indians for the past, 300 years. The residential schools wasn't even the start of it, folks. Anyways, we're fucked now. We ain't got no trade deal. If they do get a trade deal, it might even be worse. Can't get any worse? Well, it's going to get a whole lot worse around here in Canada. But I uploaded a whole bunch of videos about the empty fucking condos. Now, these ones back here ain't so empty, but if they were full, there'd be a lot more people around here. I'm not seeing the bodies, and it's mostly the townhouses, the cheaper, the low-rises, all the stuff that's recently built, and all the stuff that's luxury type, higher echelons of the fucking so-called ritziness around here. Those are all the ones that are empty and for sale, and nobody can fucking afford this shit. It's not mathematically possible. Everybody's been living on credit. Nobody likes their neighbors. Everybody thinks they're better than their neighbors. That's one of the big things about this whole showmanship about having more credit. Well, when you don't have credit, when you've actually got money in the bank, the ones who are used to living on credit, they just blow through that like my old lady did. Just blows through that money like worse than a crackhead. I think she was actually supporting a junkie crackhead myself, but whatever. That's old hat now. Maybe. I don't think I'll ever know. Maybe I can find out, but that would take some tricks to get through. See, I got my campfire tea. I got my joint. I got my papers printed off at the library, so I did the filings, all the stuff with the family court. I'm done on that, and I can move on to the criminal court. That's going to be fun. We'll move on to that one. Go through that, do the filings next week. That's my plan. Then we can move on to some of the multiple civil cases once I've had the practice. But until that point, I'm pretty much fucked and stuck in town or floundering while I do my research on the computer and draw up my legal forms to be filed at the court. I'm in over my head out here, folks. Well, that's just the court. See, living free and easy on the land, that would be easy, except for all the fucking court cases. Kind of need a plug-in and lights to burn the midnight oil. I mean, I got lights, battery operated ones, but studying all the legal briefs in the middle of the fucking downpour, thunderstorm, rainstorms isn't exactly... I got some of the documents a little bit wet, started to get moist, but I kept a lot of shit dry. Get some stuff that I filed served, go back to the storage locker, switch the papers out, go through the other papers, and I got a plan for next week. But for the amount of good that this is gonna do, I don't fucking know. Keep the courts busy, keep the courts in jobs. That's what they said that they're doing. Since COVID, the only thing is the inter-family acrimony and the family law legal matters. That's the only thing that's holding the economy out west here together, I guess, because they can't build empty condos anymore. There's just no buyers, there's no takers, there's nobody dumb enough. See, that's the thing, right? One way you could look at it is if they're holding 10 units empty for the bank and you buy one unit at 10 times the price of what it should cost, and then you're paying, X amount of compounded interest that adds up to another one of that 10%, 15%, the whole cost of the unit over again. You've actually paid for the unit to be made double, one that you've paid for and one amount that you've paid the banks, so that pays everybody their wages and keeps the system running for the next 20 or 30 years. And then the fact that you have to tenfold fractionally reserve banking, you've also paid for all your neighbors in that same building to be empty. And now there's buildings like that, just those ones are like that right now. Oops. There's just literally 3 buildings. I bet you 1,000 empty rooms or condos in the whole thing, because there's townhouses too there, and there's people, but like, I don't know, some of the there's as many living in the townhouses as in the whole apartment building, which is to say like 40, 50, 60, like 40, 50, 60 in 3 different buildings and a couple different sections of the townhouse development. Just over there, I just showed you those buildings. I've done up close videos of them, and I don't know. I don't think that they're going to be getting the bailouts. I think it's the ones that they're still putting the final touches on, the ones that they seem to still, that all of a sudden the work started to go in earnest, but not the private ones. These ones that they were already getting government money somehow. But if they don't have a fucking dealio with this fucking Trump liquor, there ain't gonna be no bourbon to drown out our sorrows, folks, and that's gonna be a real shame. I don't know. I can't drink the fucking shitty fucking wine, even if it's local. They just fuck me up. I guess I'll go back to drinking beer in my next video, maybe. I don't know. We could work something out, folks. But here's my joint done. See, I got my whole bowl pasta. Basically, it's easy going living out here on the lam, but except for the fucking court documents, I would be living free and easy, and it wouldn't be too bad. Not too bad, I bet you. Not in the summer, at least. I don't know. We'll see what happens next month. I'm gonna get my shit together one of these days. But until then, I'm gonna go get my dinner, and you folks enjoy your evening, rest of the weekend, whatever you got going on there. I uploaded a whole bunch of videos because I finally got around to it. All these videos that I've had on my phone ever since the beginning of the week. So I've got to work something out, do clips or figure something out with the editing software I got on the phone. It's apps, whatever. We'll see. It's a work in progress. I don't know. Do you think they're going to say they've been having emergency negotiations over the winter, or not winter, over the weekend? Do you think they're going to be stonewalling again? maybe the Stonewall and the Canadians are just gonna fucking take their ball and go home, but they can't, because everybody's gonna lose their job, and all the building materials for anything that they would make, wallpaper, make to do work, to do any of these rental apartments, whatever these building anything or government projects or roads, like it's just going to keep on going up at such a rate, and they're just going to have to keep on printing more money. I bet you the dollar is going to be less than 60 cents, or like around 60 cents, 50, 60 cents. It's going to go down to that by the time the end of the year or something, maybe even sooner, because they're going to have to lower their dollar to the other countries. If you're dealing with China, well, they have a lower cost of paying people, so they have like lower costs. So you're gonna have to lower your dollar to make it so that enough yuan that are cheaper. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, okay, we'll buy some of that. Maybe, I don't know. The other economies that they're tying themselves to are going down at a much fucking faster rate. All of Europe and China compared to the USA. Again, as ever, still the best house in a bad neighborhood. Yeah, the same banksters that have run out of the Western European banksters, the fucking Catholic Pope ordained fucking funny hat people banksters. So you can't beat them, but they're using Canada as a fucking punching bag. I don't know. If you stood for it this long, I guess we're gonna see as you stand for it, as it gets even more worse, or worse or more, or, well, whatever. I give up. Enjoy fucking off, folks. Have a great night.